I recently spent an entire day with my Dreamcast and gave it a full array of mods and restoration, and up until now I've only had a standard AV cable for the unit that came with it when I got it from eBay, which I also unboxed on here on this channel. But that AV cable with only the composite video was okay for testing purposes, but nowhere near going to be good enough for deployment around here for enjoying the Dreamcast for what it can do. So now that it's been all modded and ready to go, I've been needing a cable for it, and I waited my heart out for HD Retrovision Dreamcast cables, and I know one day they're coming. I hope they do. I know it's tough times right now and things are difficult, but I know they're hopefully still in the pipeline. Voltor did stating that they did have some features that separated them from the rest, so it was tantalizing, and those were what I wanted to wait for. But in the meantime, there is one other great option, which may even equally be as good and has Mike G's stamp of approval on it, and it's got the RetroTink branding even. So around here, I use a RetroTink, and so I knew this was going to be a great option too. So this came all the way from the UK to here in Canada through their Royal Mail, and just arrived today. So I'm excited for it because actually, now that my Dreamcast is ready to deploy, I'm excited to actually play a few games on there. Resident Evil Code Veronica is on deck right now. That's actually going to be probably the next game that I played. I did buy Contra 3 last night and I'm having some fun with that, but Resident Evil 3 or Resident Evil Code Veronica will be played in the near future. So until I had the proper cables for that though, that was not happening. So let's check out what we got here. So this comes from Retro Gaming Cables out of the UK, and I actually bought two cables I also got, so they look to be the same, so we won't know which one we have here first. So this will be a surprise. And this looks to be my N64 cable, because this was actually something else that I needed. Was my N64 just has the standard Nintendo AV cable that we all know from the Super Nintendo through the GameCube, and even the Wii used that cable. Or N64, sorry. But I never had the S-Video cable, so this is their S-Video cable, which is hopefully, and what I believe to be the best on the market. There's another one probably equally as good from Insurrection Industries, but that was impossible to get. It's sold out everywhere, and sometimes getting this stuff here, even here in Canada, is difficult. So this was also probably just as good, maybe even better. So I got them both at the same time, which cut down on some of the shipping costs by combining it, that is. And here we go. This is the star here, and it does have a switch on there that you can switch for a couple of different games that have that compatibility issue. You'll see that it's powered by RetroTink. It's branded right there on the cable connector. We're going to get that out. We're going to get this hooked up even, and I actually want to show a quick comparison. It's not going to be anything scientific, but I do want to show a comparison of some just brief before and after shots. It did come with a sticker, which is nice. I like that. I like representing, and I do always like to go with I like supporting all the retro members, all the people that are putting out these kinds of products for the retro community. I always like to support them where I can, and I know that's not always an option, but I try not to buy the clones if the original makers are still around and supporting the device. That's not always possible though. A case and example, I guess, is the GDMU that's in this Dreamcast, but where I can, and I always do buy the good cables. I have the full suite of HD Retrovision cables and all the adapters, and I'm probably going to end up getting more of the Genesis cables so that I don't have to switch the adapters each time, because I recently got my order in on a selectable video switch, 19 different modules on it, so I plan to have that fully kitted out with all of the best cables to connect all of the systems at the same time, switched through the selectable video switch and into the RetroTink 4K. So that chain itself should be as good as it's basically gonna get, I can imagine. To have all these units hooked up ideally through their best cables and through their best outputs and all that's possible that for each one. So a big part of that was getting both of these cables. This is going to be the one I'm doing the testing with. I may test this one at another time, but since that Dreamcast just got ready to go and I do want to play Resident Evil Code Veronica, I want to get this one hooked up right now because it's kind of a pain on my RetroTink to be able to go into the back and switch these cables out each time now, because that's really my only option here until I have that selectable video switch. And I'm pre-ordered and I'm finally in the first batch after missing out on the first two, even though I was there in the very seconds and trained even for it to get my checkout as fast as I could, but I missed it. And I'm finally in the next one in the first batch too. So it's still going to be probably a couple months before I have that. In the meantime, I gotta manually reconnect and disconnect all these different systems with each of their cables. But that's a small complaint. But this was a cable I was excited for. I still do hope that HD Retrovision cable can bring theirs to the market, because I may be interested in that eventually too, even though it's probably not going to be necessary with what I have here. But we're going to go and check it out now. We're going to hook up the old standard AV unit or cable that came with it and do a quick test with that, and it'll be easy to switch to because the front input on the RetroTink will have the composite and the rear will have the component. So be a quick switch. We should be able to do some A/B testing and see what kind of a difference we're looking at just on a quick glance. Basically, there won't be anything scientific about this testing. So stick around. I'll be right back with that. So it's a pretty big mess here, and I have the Dreamcast hooked up into the front of the RetroTink right now just through composite video. And then down beside it, I have the new retro gaming cables, and that's hooked into the back of the RetroTink through component. So we're gonna just boot this up and test out a game using the standard AV cable, and then again with the new retro gaming cables after that. So this is how it's hooked up for now. Very temporary, as you can see. Everything is temporary here for now until I do have that selectable video switch. But let's get this loaded up, and I'll just get the camera pointed at the screen, and that's going to be the best that we can do here for now. We're going to boot it now with the standard AV cable. And I'm not sure how well you guys can see that, but it doesn't look great at all. I mean, certainly not good enough. And well, this isn't going to be a good test because this is just the GDMU open menu, I believe. But let's try some Crazy Taxi, because we all know and love Crazy Taxi, and I've played that a bit on here just through the testing, and I know what it looks like already on this particular setup. So this will be a good one for me to test, and probably the most recognizable for you guys too. And you can even see just with the small bit of text that was on the screen there, and even these logos are very low resolution. So the menus, this is where I believe I'm going to see a big difference too, just even in the colors probably. I'm hoping to. I know I did the same test with my Super Nintendo and the HD Retrovision cables for that compared to the composite video, and the difference was night and day. I was beside myself how much better it was. And we'll get to see it here in the menus and the text, but you can even see that lower text there is very blurry. I mean, it's functional, and even that now loading. So this will be a good test for us to compare to before we even get into the game.
It's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay, so we all know and love that music, but that's probably going to get me canceled. Not that I'm actually trying to make money on this, so I don't even care, actually. They can strike it as much as they want, but we'll just get a quick glimpse at some that's probably enough to see, and I'm gonna probably enjoy this a whole lot better once it looks a lot crisper. So let's go switch over to the component cables and we'll be right back. Okay, so now we have the RetroTink set to the component input, and we are going to boot it up. And I can see a pretty big difference just on that. I'm not sure how well this is going to come across on the camera, but we should see it better in the game. So it looks much sharper already. These aren't... Right here you can see a certain difference. And here too. In fact, that doesn't even look the same. I don't remember that lower background behind the text being like textured like that. I might have to switch back, or I'll look at the footage, but that at least looks different and better, of course. And this too, even just all the fine print and stuff, which is the stuff that really stands out when it's low resolution. And this is already looking much better. So yeah, I'm happy about that. Yeah, everything is definitely looking a whole lot better, and it's gonna be fun to play some games on the Dreamcast again. So that was a good enough test, and I'm convinced it's a huge difference, and this is a massive upgrade. So I can't wait to play Dreamcast again. The system's all set up now, just the way I want it, and I'm excited for the Dreamcast. So I'm happy to have these cables. They're the real deal, and it's a massive upgrade from what this had before. So yeah, I'm real excited, and there's gonna be lots more of this kind of stuff coming on the channel. So if you want to see more, I hope you stay tuned to the next videos. Bye.